round 6 of Winter Matchplay 2025. We are in Milton Keynes, England, and we have Brian Poe, who is 5-0, right at the top, playing Rafal Dominiczak, who is 4-1 in 4th place. This is Hong Kong versus Poland, very much an international matchup here on the stream. Both exceptionally strong players. Brian, one of the best young players in the world, however we're defining young. I've even heard on the ground from Joel Davey, who was at an invitational with him 2 weeks ago, that he's even stronger now than his current rating would suggest, which might go some way to explaining his current dominant position on the enhanced scoreboard, albeit being early days. So we're kicking off with Brian to go first, and let's see what he's drawn.
Yeah, I'm certainly very familiar with how strong Brian is. He put me out of the best competition in the semi-final this year by beating me 8-4. Technically, on paper, he was the lower rated of the two of us. It certainly didn't feel that way when we were playing. But he was pretty ruthless in that. I thought I'd done well up until that point, and came up against Brian. We played over the course of 2 days, and that was that. Brian now through to play a best of 17 final in this year's best competition against Phil Robertshaw, of course, another fantastically strong player himself. So that, I believe they're going to play either in between Christmas and New Year, or possibly just into the New Year, because I think it's very difficult for them to arrange a time. So we see Brian's opening rack here, Novity going down, leaving an A. That is a strong player, according to Quackle. Not anything really extensive to think about there. Hopefully the score should now update for you folks with the names as well. Not giving great options for Rafal there. He needs to ditch the J. You don't want the J at the start of the game. You don't want a duplicate A. The A-C-E-I-T is a powerful combination, so there is nothing better than simply playing that J-A onto the I of Novity for 26. Highest scoring move is also the best move.
Yep, and it looks like Rafal agrees.
Correct moves by both players so far. Can't argue with any of their choices so far. Pretty uninspiring pickup for Brian Poe there. He's picked 6 letters which make a 6-letter word. Coupe with the double E spelling. Would play with from 9C, underlapping the start of Novity. Keeping that A. Again, Toupe plays off the T, also with a double E. If he looks for a parallel play to Jai, then he would have Coati there, C-O-A-T-E-E, but it's not a very attractive option. P-U, very ugly leave, and of course leaving an S-hook for an S that he doesn't have. I would not be favouring that myself. Upa looks pretty good. O-U-P-A, making jar. 21, not the highest scoring move, but probably the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah, another option is to play Coati but leave one of the E's off, which looks like what he's lining up actually. So Coats with 1 E. Another very stylish
that's a very reasonable
play. I'm not sure you've touched on his I cup through the Y.
Yes, I-cup is a really stylish move, as you say. A-O would put me off, however. I think it's the two vowels that probably go the worst together besides I-U. And the thing about A-O, It's a bit like LN. It's not a terrible leaf by itself, but as soon as you pick another one of either of those, it becomes awful. AAO is dreadful. AOO is dreadful. LN is the same. You know, by themselves, they're not too bad, but as soon as it becomes double LN or LNN, you've immediately got a really ugly combination. So I wouldn't favour iCup here. I just think AO is not what you want to keep at this point.
Yeah,
Coat,
absolutely.
as you said, with the single E spelling COATE is a pretty good option. UPA would still be my choice.
Can you just take the reins for 2 minutes, Stuart?
I can.
Thank you.
Maybe. No, I didn't. Okay.
You did, and also the shop. And you haven't sorted the fridge. Or the kitchen. Or the living room. Okay. Here's the shirt.
Brian taking his time to think about this one. Not too much to do, really. Coat is the best option. It's the best of a bad bunch. This is a time-wasting move because there's nothing that feels right. You keep thinking, if I look long enough and hard enough at this, there's going to be something pops out. And there really won't be. Finally playing Coat, except if there is something better. I can't see it there. And he's right, there just isn't. It's a pretty uninspiring set, really. After a Crackle Championship player analysis, by the way, Coat does come out as the top option there. So, one playable bonus for Rafal Dominiczak. It is one of those plays that you think if he'd seen it, if he was going to see it, he'd have lined it up by now, but he hasn't even come close to it. Maybe he's looking at that set of letters and thinking, you know what, with that N of novelty, I'm sure that makes something. And he's right, it does. Ethician, someone who presumably deals in ethics, ETHICIAN is the play. Tough to spot, but it's high enough probability that he may have reached it in his studies.
Synonym of ethicist, which Paul Allen famously found on Good Morning Britain or something like that. Have you seen that clip, Stuart?
I haven't actually, no.
Yeah, Paul Allen, probably about 10 years ago now, they quizzed him point blank with bingos on a board mid-game, and he found ethicist, and they were absolutely blown away. So that's the reason that I know ethician probably more through that than having studied it. Not the easiest spot. This is a lovely, lovely play though. Very, very nice. Wow.
Yeah, second best. Obviously, the bingo was the best, but Yachty is decent. He's taking a chance that Brian doesn't have an S. We know that he doesn't, of course. Is Brian holding this, we wonder?
Yeah, looks like it.
You may be wondering, he knows Yachties, but he's thinking, is it Y? Is it an IE? And is indeed a challenge. Little device coming out of the pocket. This is how challenges are largely done these days. Players have their own checking devices, and it will be an extra 5 points then for Yachty, taking it from 32 to 37.
Very nice. So that's paid a bit extra dividends as well for Rafal. So back to Brian. Very clunky rack, but he can essentially sort it all out in one through the H with a wump. Or whoop, holding the M. I don't think he would do that if he saw the play.
Yeah,
Very
wump
nice.
is going down pretty quickly here, and
Very nice. Yeah.
not really argue with that. It does give some easy plays for Rafal, who can use the P to his advantage. Piezo is the 5. It's the highest scoring play. PHI, probably not what he would totally choose to keep, but you can't really turn down 51 when it's there. Next best option for score is considerably worse. Gizmo through the M. 37 as opposed to 51, and leaving a G right next to the triple word score. So Piezo, by a long way here, the move to make. Nothing else comes close at all in valuation here. You would have been hoping the P was one higher, of course, for the beautiful Fizzog, which would have been an incredible play if that P was just one. PHI ZOG would be the dream move into the corner there, but
Wow.
he'll settle for Piezo as second best.
And projecting forward slightly, Rafal is going to be getting hit hard here, so he needs to draw well after this as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Fizzog would be absolutely amazing. I'm sure Rafal has seen Piet, so he's probably just checking his other options, but I'm sure he's going to conclude soon enough, as Stuart says, that it is really the play. Looks like he might be considering Guy somewhere, possibly. Oh, no, okay, he's found it. He's found it. Great.
Can I just do audio check? Can you hear me at the moment, Joseph?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, all good. So, yeah, Rafal finding his standout play. Didn't take him too long, just practicing his due diligence just to make sure there was nothing better. And back over to Brian. I've not quackled this yet, but I assume he's got a wealth of options. Well, maybe not a
He
wealth,
does,
but he's, yeah.
They're all along the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wanna see his
Treadist,
rallies.
Willers, Stillers, Killers,
Oh, yeah.
Dillers. Many options.
Yeah. Yeah, with moves like this, Brian needs to not take too long. He's lining up grills, which does a lovely job of having an awkward first letter for Rafal to then overlap in the G. In fact, that is, on my quackle, that's simming second best at the moment, second only to Trellis. Yeah, of course, if you've got an incredibly flexible rack like this, you want to make that blank as awkward as possible for your opponent, and that's exactly what Brian is going to be doing here, assuming he goes ahead with grills. I guess the only thing you could say about grills is it... oh no, ignore me, I was going to say it sets up a line for an ING, but there's not enough space, is there? So
No, not
that's
even enough
a
space for that with
consideration.
front hooking onto novelties. So no, it's a very, very solid safe play there.
Yeah, lovely play. Lovely play. Great, okay. So that puts Brian into the lead, and we move back to Rafal, who's drawn the X.
Not too much to think about here for Rafal, really. Ox is the standout play. Just plays down the side of Yachties with IO and EX, and it would leave a nice GHINR combination.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, like with Pietzo, I think we're going to see this fairly quickly. Save himself some time.
Score update then, 175 for Brian Poe, 114 for Rafal.
Mm-hmm. Just checking, are you up to date with the live game, Stuart?
Should be. Is that the score that you're showing there?
Oh, it's literally just changed, as I said it, yeah.
Oh,
great.
okay.
Thank you.
if you were watching the live stream from Ghana, from the Westpac Championships there, you'd have seen a few times when players put a blank sideways on their rack. And there was a bit of observation that this could have been a bit of a telegraph to the opponent if they've been paying attention, people putting a black the wrong way around. If Rafal was looking over at Brian's rack at the minute, he'd think he had 4 blanks. There we go.
Is that an inference that you've ever made yourself?
Not ever in my life. Nope.
No.
And to be honest, if it became a thing, if people started thinking about it, sure, you'd start turning one leather sideways on every single rack, wouldn't you? Just to mess with their head. So it's not a very good strategy, I don't think.
So Rafal taking a little longer than we expected here, but it does look like he's about lining up. And there we go, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I will say I may be a little delayed, so that may have already
You're
come
not,
down,
actually. Now, it seems that you are absolutely spot on with timing, because I saw Ox go down at exactly the same time as you did, so perhaps that little time delay
great.
has sorted itself out.
Brilliant. Okay.
Full pick up for Brian. Not much you can do. When it's 7 out of the bag, you get what you get, and he's got rubbish here. His highest scoring possible move scores 10. That's how bad that is. We could be looking at a change. Could be looking at ditching Guru onto the U of Grills, making Ugg, but it opens up a whole load of floaters that he won't be particularly keen to do at this point. Not good options at all for the man currently on 5-0.
Yeah. Quackle is liking just dumping Ugg above Novelty, I guess, just to block up that area a bit, but he has gone with Guru. Somewhat surprising choice, I think.
Yeah, it's a little bit generous, perhaps, for this stage of the game. Rafal needs to spot the 7 on his rack. He needs to be absolutely confident that this is a word. He needs to get it down without hesitation. It's rehinge. It plays above or below. It means putting new hinges on, something simple as that. There's only one 7, and he's got to spot it to stay in this game. 40 points behind. He would go 29 ahead and be well and truly back into it as Brian draws an awkward cue. So it's rehinge or nothing here.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say at this point, Rafal is not a player who alphabetizes his rack, so I've really no insight as to whether he's seen this yet. It would appear not.
Yeah, you would wonder if he had spotted it, why has he not lined it up by now, if not actually played it? And that is worrying because he's got to get this to get back into the game.
He's actually now lining up N hearing, which of course would be a phony. Probably confusing with in hearing. Body language says it all. He's really weighing this up. It's very, very plausible looking, I will say. But he cannot afford to phony at this stage. Especially against a player of Brian's caliber. This will be off the board the moment it touches the plastic.
Oh, no, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. He is missing it, unfortunately. And air is a reasonable alternative. It's Quackle's 7th choice, but the 7 was there. It's a high enough probability 7 that he should, one might arguably say, have got it. I don't like to criticize, but it could be painful.
Yeah.
Rehinge.
Unbeknownst to Rafal, he's going to be bailed out by a rack of 2 halves here for Brian. Got inter plus QV. So he's looking to dump off the queue. A couple of standard options here. Alternatively, he could just keep inter in exchange, but I think you'll take the 18 points here for Chin, or just dump the queue for 11. Or another option is sank off the C as well, although that unnecessarily sets up an S, so I don't think we'll be seeing him do that. Yeah, it looks like he's going to take the points here. Smart decision. Brian taking his time here. No need to rush. He's doing well on the clock. Furiously writing down some notes. Intrigued what that's about. Seems like quite a cut and dry play. But then you don't get to the level Brian's at without having a whole lot going on upstairs as well. So I'm sure there's many considerations that I have not even envisaged at this stage. But again, as we head into the middle of the game, a nice close one. Currently just 10 points in it. No clear favourite here at all, which is what we like to see. For those tuning in who don't know, Winter Matchplay is renowned for going on well into the evening, so we're not going to be providing coverage for the night. But there are 3 games after dinner. The last game kicks off at 9:20, so the players won't expect really to be done till about 10:15. And then there's generally frivolity in the bar of an evening. A lot of players tired, I dare say hungover on Sunday. I've been witness to that. But I think it's just what you can't really not do that, I think. Because obviously Scrabble, not just a leisurely pursuit for us, it's also a community, a way of life. I'll speak for myself anyway, I think for many others.
Absolutely.
So I think for day two of Winter Matchplay and other tournaments, you just accept you're going to be very tired.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, I'm surprised to see Brian taking so long over this. 12 minutes gone on the clock. He was considering QIN. He's gone for ditching the Q. He's just thinking, how much do I hate the V? Am I prepared to fish for a single tile, keeping a V? And, it's worked out for him.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it. Actually, Noverint doesn't play. Interesting.
Inventor.
Very interesting. Yeah, Inventor are going to be the only one.
So back to Rafal. Again, something of a nondescript rat. Quackle is wanting him to blow through this, really. Play off 5 tiles. Options to do that are Monga onto the R of Guru. Also Golem, Genom. Looks like he might be considering Gem.
It has to be said, they are dreadful options with this rack, aren't they? You find yourself looking at it and going, surely there's something that scores more than 20 points here, and the answer is there isn't at all. This is a very unfortunate nothing rack. 21 if he wants to play Oinomel, is Oenomel through QIN. Not a great option. It is Nick Della's online Scrabble username, is Oinomel, but opting for Gem, and I'm glad to see him not wasting too much time on this, really, because it was such an unattractive rack. It just didn't do anything at all. you could waste a
Agreed.
lot of time on a rack like that.
And Brian just doing his paperwork, but he's going to be throwing down Vintner. Nothing else to think about, really.
Yep.
And Rafal really needs to draw well into his leave of Elon.
Again, it's that fatal LN. I really don't like it as a pair. Don't think he likes it very much either. Could go
Are we up to date
wrong.
with the live game, Stuart?
We are now. I've just put in Vintner there. So 267 to Brian and 189 to Rafal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just updated again. Thank you. Yeah.
And dreadful options.
Dear.
Once more,
Yeah.
Rafal, he has absolutely nothing here.
Yeah, this rack and the previous really are where champions are made. This is where you really have to dig down and just, accept the fact that every move is rubbish, essentially. But there's always a winningest play still. And again, unbeknownst to Rafal, just projecting forward slightly, we see Brian's drawn into the second blank and firepower on his rack, so he's in a very strong position. I mean, he is already. But yeah, Rafal, this is a clock burning turn, really. So many ways that you can take this, so many nuances, permutations. What do you want to leave? I mean, I guess, he needs to leave the floaters alone in Vintner. I guess that means not playing above gem, because that then encourages Brian to counter overlap. So Quackle is liking sticking the L onto Jai and making either lean or lead. And there are 3 S's on scene to Rafal, so yeah, those look like pretty good options.
Yeah, I think lean sounds pretty good because you've got the T hook then as well as the S, and it undoubles or it gets rid of the LN combination, which, as you may have noticed from my comments in this game, I have a natural aversion to LN and AO in particular. So I think lean sounds pretty good to me. ADELO, probably about as good as it gets. He is going, however, for ditching the single L on Joel. Not a terrible move, actually. It's not the worst thing he could do there. He just needs a really good pickup.
Yeah.
It's surprising how often, sitting here with Quackle in front of me, I'm looking at what the rack is, thinking there must be something decent there. You click on the suggestions, and the top scoring move is absolute rubbish. And this is another example. We thought Brian had firepower, but he's got so little.
Yeah, that is remarkable, actually.
You would really have thought that he would have had something decent there, but there is so little on option. He's looking at things like maybe Fouth onto the H in the bottom right hand corner. Face value 15 points to get rid of the F and the W together. Leaves BGT, that's not particularly attractive. Fob above Guru will score 20. Then you've got to hang on to the W. No one wants to do that. Terrible options here. You know it's bad when Quackle's 7th suggestion uses the blank for 34. Bowget, BOWGET, with a blank E onto Joel for 34 points. It says not actually a terrible thing to do here. The good news for Brian, given the score deficit at this point, on a fairly close board, it is already ranking some of Brian's moves here as about 95% win rate.
Yeah, Bowget would be very, very stylish and actually achieve a lot. But he has opted with Fob. Fine. Yeah, fine. And back to Rafal. And again...
Yeah, after a championship
Yeah.
player analysis, Quackle does favour.
Yeah. Oh, this is a really, really tough run of moves for Rafal. Something is going to have to give eventually, but for now, he's just playing off, basically blowing up the rack, going for that unseen blank and some S's, or scoring next to nothing, keeping well, but risking essentially negating the bingo when it comes in terms of score.
Yeah, he's going for loaned, and that's probably a pretty good option here. There's a point where you have to just cash in, give up on the idea of a bonus, take the points that are available, go for the blank that's unseen. We know, of course, that Brian has it. He doesn't know that. Loan scores 29. You've got to stay in touch in score and just try to pick better on something that's more synergic and actually provides you with something. What we may see, however, is now a bonus from Brian, because that L has made an unplayable rack into a playable rack. Twangled is the word with the blank A. And Brian immediately lining it up.
Yeah.
Well, or is he? Or is he looking at wanged or something down the side of loaned, which would score very well? Winged would be the play for 54 using the blank, but twangled is the bingo for 74. Very tough to know which one to choose here, because twangled, of course, opens the board right up. You're giving away 9 timer possibilities through the D on the right hand side. You're giving the opponent the top row. Winged has a lot going for it, I think, here, as does gowned as well, Gowned as well, scoring 56. I think I would favour gowned over twangled here.
Yeah, interesting again. If you get to the point where the only way you can lose is through a triple, albeit with a D in second position, not overly horrendous, but you just consider the worst case scenario. Is that the only way I can lose? If so, yeah, don't open it up. So yeah, gowned looks good.
I mean, let's face it, Rafal in reality is only 1 letter away from adenoids or adenized. So the 9 timer through a D in second wouldn't be that far off. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brian take the conservative option of winged here. He hasn't even lined up twangled. I know the letters are in the right order at the minute, save for the blank, but it looks like he's just not even considering a fairly average scoring bonus that throws the board wide open here. And I think he's absolutely right to not give that much consideration. I remember thinking for years when I started playing Scrabble that there was no situation in which you would ever choose not to play a 7 or 8 letter word if you had one. Of course, completely wrong. There are so many situations in which you would never throw the board wide open when it might be your only way to lose. Gowned top for me, I think, here. Another nice option would be to just play wed down the right hand side, making jold as well. WED there scores 35, keeps a very nice GND blank, also worth due consideration.
Yeah, I'd be very tempted by that if I saw that.
So he's going for winged. We hope he's made the blank and I, because that's the only valid option here. I imagine that he has. That puts him in a commanding position in this game, really. And Rafal, yet again, dross 130 minutes behind. There are a few options in the top right-hand corner. Odia is his top scoring move, ODEA down there. It keeps him just about in touch. And in fact, with no hesitation, that is going down. He's saving time. He's maybe looking to put a bit of time pressure on Brian here, recognizing they're both under 10 minutes, and it feels like there's quite a bit of game left yet. So Odia, without too much hesitation, straight down. Now awaiting racks for both players. We haven't seen what Brian picked to go with that T yet. By the looks of it, neither is he. Looks like they're double checking the score on Odia. It's 44, but of course, so much to add up there. Sometimes these things take a minute. The nod of the head says, yep, I agree with you.
Okay, and we're back in business. Yeah, quite a nice draw.
Yeah,
in terms of,
there's a devil of a move here.
Yeah. And I would not
Brian
put many
can
players on to find
absolutely wrap
this.
the game up with the one.
Yeah.
I'm
Brian's one of the
pretty
few
sure that
players.
Brian is going to find this.
Yeah. So just to be clear for the audience, there's one and only one bingo available to Brian. It is an 8.
And I gave him a bit of a clue. He is going to be dragging Rafal to hell with this play. I'm fairly sure it's going to go down. We say, as Brian does not line up the outlet word at all. Come over to the dark side, Brian. Embrace your satanity. It's there for 62. It will be, I'm pretty sure, a game-winning play at this point. It will put him 130 or so points ahead. I don't think there's going to be any coming back for Rafal Dominiczak after satanity goes down. If he misses it, arguably, from a commentary point of view, it makes the game much more interesting. But I think Brian's going to get this one.
Okay.
And he hasn't.
He's going with AI.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a miss. I wish he'd missed things like that against me when we played him best. He seemed to spot absolutely everything going. AY was the second best alternative.
Yeah.
He needn't
and that's
fear.
given Rafal an incredible lifeline. He needs to find this. In fact, I don't think, this didn't play actually before. So Brian has given Rafal an incredible lifeline.
And the reason I paused there, is because I typed Rafal's rack in wrongly and thought, what's the bonus here? And then I realised I'd given him 2 R's and not 2 S's. There is one playable 7-letter word. It's sorries. It goes underneath AY just played. And, it's a glimmer of hope for Brian here to have missed that, to have given a place for sorries. Rafal's lining up saucier. We don't like to see this. We don't like to see words that don't exist lined up. If you know the word that's there, get it down. Don't taunt us, Rafal.
Yeah, there's a chasm between this and Rafal's next best move.
Yep. Quackle says if he plays stories, he's got about 11-12% chance of winning. If he plays anything else, he's absolutely out of the game.
Both players getting quite low on time as well. So I think if we assume that Rafal is not going to find this, he needs to do something strategic to the board. He needs to open, off the top of my head, I guess that means just playing above the G, creating a hook, creating a lane. Can he do something next to lid? Not really. to any great degree. Not in any way that scores either. He needs to leave that sevens line alone that Brian's just created. Yeah. Quackle is suggesting, if you're not going to find the bingo, US above gem, making scene. Creates a new... Oh, it doesn't even create a sevens line, actually. No, that doesn't really do anything. No, that's not the play. If I'm in this position, not finding the bingo, maybe literally just dump the U above the G.
Yeah.
Oh, we just need to update the score, Stuart, as well, if you haven't already.
Okay, yes.
Thank you, producer Ruth, for notifying us of that. Okay, so Rafal's going for a middle option. He's going to tick over one more turn and score. Get rid of that duplicate S, which in this position doesn't really benefit him much to have that second S. So, yeah, fair enough. And he's gone with Sal, making Saga for 22. Reasonable, and yeah, to be fair, probably better than what I was suggesting of scoring nothing but opening a new lane. Well, I don't know if it's better, but it's an alternative path anyway. Finally, back to Brian after what's been an age, it seems. He's got the K for firepower. Has he got any way of using it? Looks like he does, actually. In fact, this is pretty much going to wrap the game up, I think.
Yeah, Tinks or Tanks or Ninks in IKS, and it's going to be, as they say on live streams, GG.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this is when we will see Rafal have to fishing play above that G, because there's literally nowhere else on the board at this point. Other than, I guess, onto Lid in the top right, creating a sevens lane in the triple lane. But yeah, he's gone with Tinks. It's brutal for Rafal to see that come down. And in fact, even if Rafal bingo's actually the score deficit is too great, unfortunately. So he has got Druzia, nowhere for it.
Yeah, it's a shame he had playable 7 and he didn't know it was Sories. He knows Jeruzia from this rack, but it doesn't play, so
yeah,
them's the breaks. Unfortunately, I'm under a bit of time pressure here myself because of family commitments from dinner and things has gone on a bit later. I may have to drop out at this point and leave you to hold the fort for the rest of this game. It's not really in doubt, the result at this point, Joseph, so I think you can probably take the reins from here if you're okay with that for these last few play-out moves.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Stuart.
Dinner and family commitments getting in the way somewhat, but it has been good to commentate with you. And another great step forward in this facility that's now available for UK events. So, and hope to meet you one day in person, Joseph, sooner or later. Do come over to Northern Ireland. You'd be most welcome. So.
Thank you. I intend to. Yeah, thank you for your time.
No doubt before then we will live stream again at some point in the near future, I'm very sure.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, I should have handed over to you for Quackle, of course, for the remainder of the games here. Don't think I can do that, unfortunately, but...
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I've got it going my end, so I'll just inform the audience.
Can you switch which Quackle uploads to it? Brilliant. Right. Okay.
Oh, no, I don't think so, but I mean... Oh, that's a nice little play. That's a nice play, actually. I did not...
Rev isn't real well. It uses the E, which he can't afford to do. He's going to play P-bar through the E and completely kill that part of the board. That's a desperate fishing move, but it's just going to lead to more pain, I'm afraid. And on that delightfully cheery note, I will love you and leave you Talk to you soon. Cheers. Goodbye.
Thank you, Stuart. Goodbye. Okay, folks. So yeah, as Stuart said, yeah, we've lost the score at this point, but it is just a formality from here on. Brian is 100 ahead with 1 in the bag. He'll just do his due diligence, but as Stuart said, Peeber is going to absolutely kill this game stone dead. Alternatively, he's looking at BAP, which does the job just as nicely. With 1 in the bag, if you're interested, his absolutely optimal play is Bipat. Certainly one of the more obscure 5s, quite hard to spot, going down the left of Rev, leaving AI. And in the end, we see Peeber. And back to Raf. And again, just to update you on the score, because we have lost Quackle for the remainder of this game. It is 4-4-1, Brian to 300. A really unpleasant game for Rafal in terms of drawing. Just an absolute slew of difficult, almost bingo-y racks in the middle of the game, which just set him back. That being said, he fought through them very well and played them as he should. For example, playing Loaned, completely blowing up the rack for, I think it was 29 when he had to, going for the unseen blank. So it does show what these top players are capable of. Even when they're faced with this kind of adversary, they still find the winningest play a lot of the time. And that's what it takes. That's where the difference lies between the truly great players and, well, the lesser so. So again, we're just going to play out the remainder of the game. Both players 2 minutes on their clock. Rafal's best play here, if you're interested, is Phil, making QI. He's considering FUD above Gem, which is also a nice play. Could also tack the O on and make food there. And in the end, he has gone with Phil. And Brian can't actually go out this turn. Looks like he's lining up Tate. Making... I'm not sure that actually plays anywhere. No, probably not. And we're still here, folks. We're just watching these two players play out the rest of the game. See Rafal's body language. He's checked out at this point, just taking a moment to recompose himself, get a little of his energy back, ready for the next game. Players may be getting a bit hungry at this point. It is dinner after the next game. And incredibly, Brian's actually found his top simming play out of an absolute plethora of essentially identical plays. So, well done, Brian. Very, very well done. Back to Rafal. His top play, very hard to spot, is Sudan with an O onto AN. But he's gone with Rudd, which is perfectly serviceable also, which puts Brian 118 ahead. Again, folks, just to remind you, we have lost Quackle for the remainder of this game, but it's just academic at this point. And Brian going out with Ty, making Mort. He did have one high scoring option of Ita, making Trevitt, hooking Revet, which he has just created, but not a problem. So the final score is Brian Poe for, I just need to calculate this because plus minus as opposed to Quackle's doubling. That would be Brian Poe 468 and Rafal Dominiczak 335. Well played by both players. As I was keen to emphasise a few minutes ago, Rafal really did well with some tricky racks there. So yes, a very enjoyable round 6.